Do I stay muted, my video off in Zoom?
Hello, everyone. I am Dan Damers, the Executive Artistic Director for Hillbarn Theater and Vice Chair for the Foster City Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and I am wonderfully excited to share my co-host, and I'm joined by Joanne Bohegan, the principal of What Do You Think LLC and a fellow chair on our Board of Directors. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Great. It is a major honor to welcome all of you to the Community Impact Summit 2021. Thank you all so much for joining us.
We are absolutely excited to have you here with us today as we host our annual meeting and Impact Awards. This year in a fully digital format. It is our hope that this year's format is going to provide a unique opportunity to learn about the impact, the advocacy, and the strategic initiatives that the Chamber has and will embark upon through the year with all of you. Each year, we host our annual meeting, and the Chamber takes the opportunity to provide a look back on its accomplishments and its lessons learned, as well as offer a look ahead. And the look ahead is intended to give us a focus on our priorities and the areas in which we're going to concentrate on. Yep. The intent is to be able to, tonight, empower the voices of all of those in the community who have shaped the Chamber in 2020, Dan.
I can't wait.
Either tonight, because no time ever has a sustainable Foster City been more a reality. And for that, I'm proud to be a part of this community.
Me too. I can't wait. But you know, every great story has a beginning. So I want to kind of quickly talk about how did we get here? I mean, everybody, as you know, 2020 was a learning experience at its base level. And I think the Chamber has been no different, right, Joanne?
No, not at all. In fact, the only thing that has been what we know how to do is to do the things that we don't know how to do.
Never have truer words been spoken. But I would like to share with all of you the amazing story of the beginning of how we kind of took this on. You know, in March of 2020, as everybody knows, the world changed. And I remember distinctly having a conversation with Joanne. And I just said, this feels big. This feels bigger than I think what we're all kind of thinking at that point. 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. But here we are 15 months later. And we knew immediately that we had to engage our community because all of us equally on equal playing field, myself from the Hillbarn side, we didn't know how we were going to navigate and move forward together. And so initially I just kind of reacted by going, well, I need to go to the center and the hub of business. And for me, that was the Chamber of Commerce. How can I get the Chamber of Commerce to be that connecting point? And, you know, we had a conversation and we decided that the best way to do that is to launch the Chamber Cares Initiative. And so we launched it on March 16th, Chamber Cares Initiative, with 3 primary objectives: the basis and the foundation of everything, every decision we made, everything that we wanted to bring to the table with our community. And that was to understand the needs of business, understand the assets of our business, and the assets that we have available to share with our Foster City community, but also understand the assets of our business and the availability to share with organizations outside of Foster City. So I like to laugh. I mean, I joke all the time, but the Chamber Cares Initiative is like the coupler that brings us all together. It's the round table from Arthur's medieval times. It's the piece that brings us, the glue that holds us together, right? And I think one of the major things that we kind of took upon ourselves was Joanne and I constantly asked, how are you doing? How can we help? And those pieces connected with those 3 kind of focal points were the driving force for the Community Cares. But when you throw in community, Joanne, you can't just think about one place, right?
No, not at all.
So why not, in the spirit of this show, annual meeting and Impact Awards, I think we should bring some of our amazing community members to the table. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't agree more. Can I kick us off?
Please do.
So the voice of business has been the customary role of the Chamber. But our intent today is for you to hear from where the real work has been happening, which are the voices of our community. And there have been active and engaged members of our community across all size and kind, industry, for-profit, and non. And what we wanted to do today is to give you a glimpse into how all of the various stakeholders have worked together and some of their challenges and some of the opportunities that have been created out of those challenges. We're not going to make the mistake of speaking about COVID and 19 and the pandemic solely in the context of a negative frame, because what you will hear from these voices and what we will learn is how to find inspiration, grit, and you'll understand why it is that we have become and are the resilient and sustainable foster city that we are. So with that, I would like to kick us off and start making our introductions into those members of our community.
So everyone, please welcome the Voice of Community panel. Joanne, kick us off.
Thank you. Bart Charlo, CEO, Samaritan House. Dr. Eleanor Britter, founder and president of the Peninsula Special Interest Lions.
Mary Lou Griffin, president, Rotary Club of Foster City. Colleen Sullivan, president, San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation.
Sonia Tappan, executive director, San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation. Marlene Hopper, vice president, director of membership and community outreach for the Foster City Village.
Supriya Singh, president of the board, Foster City Village. David Melchner, incoming president for the Foster City Lions.
Sean Pang, owner, Oceanic Sit Spa. Masako Houston, owner, Asia Link Language Service.
Sal Sensoprano, principal, Sal Sensoprano CPA. Nathan Tsai, manager of the Crown Plaza Hotel Foster City, Town Plaza Suites, and Chess Corner.
Supatra Chachivech, intercultural relationship consultant and lecturer. Melvin Justice, senior project manager, Tesla.
Georgia Farouk, executive director, Thrive Alliance of Nonprofits for San Mateo County. Roseanne Faust, CEO of Sam CETA.
Dr. Peter Najad, city and district manager for the City of Foster City, and Sam Hindi, City of Foster City Chamber liaison and council member. Oh my goodness, welcome.
Hey everybody. It's good to see you all. Listen, I am so proud. Everyone's got their Zoom protocols on point. Everyone's muted. I'm here for it. Welcome, everybody. So just to give the audience a great introspective, this group of individuals has been meeting since March of 2020, which is astounding and amazing on so many levels. You're seeing it in front of you. These are the people that make up our community, and I am so proud to be counted as one of them, as I know Joanne is. So Joanne, why don't we kick it off? How do we normally start these meetings?
Yeah, so for the benefit of all, the reason that we are addressing today in this format is so that you can all share the experience that we've really been having together for these last 15 months. We made the decision to be able to give you a glimpse into the way that we've operated with each other. Some days it's complete chaos, and other days it's complete silence. You can tell just how tired and weary and how excited each of the members of our community are based on how they've been with us at 8 a.m. in the mornings. So it seems as though, when I look back at my notes, that we have kicked off every single one of the 15 months of these roundtables with Bart Charlo, the CEO of Samaritan House. So if you will allow me, I would like to stay consistent in that and ask Bart, hello, will you get us started today?
I am happy to, as long as you don't kick me out. We're good for that. Hi, I'm Bart Charlo, and I'm CEO of Samaritan House. And tonight, well, what you're seeing is the voice of one of your Foster City neighbors for 40 years. But in fact, I represent the voices of over 4,000 volunteers led by over 100 staff members serving over 25,000 of your neighbors across San Mateo County, including right here in Foster City. And what we do at Samaritan House is we're your central anti-poverty agency, and we're doing everything that the working poor need to survive and then thrive. So we've got food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, financial assistance and empowerment services, day labor center, services in the schools, an awful lot of things that we pull together with intensive case management. Really, it's just people to people, making sure that we're helping people survive in this environment where we're all working and living together. So those are the ordinary years, and I think you all know, we've all lived through this COVID year together. It has been really something. And I will tell you that what it meant to us at Samaritan House is an enormous outpouring of demand, something that nobody's ever seen here before. We had to ramp up 2, 3, sometimes 5 times the level of services that we did before. We went from 1.4 million meals to over 3 million meals. We went from 15,000 direct service clients to 25,000 direct service clients. We opened 3 new homeless shelters for the really medically fragile, long-term homeless, some of them in under 72 hours. And we delivered $10 million to keep people housed. That is almost 8,000 families in the neighborhood. Believe me, it has been quite a run. And if you're wondering how in the world it was possible, sometimes I wonder. The reality of it is because we had a tremendous outpouring from our community. People who donated funds, people who donated food, people who sewed masks, people who volunteered to be on the food lines, a real community effort. And in that spirit, I'd like to raise my voice to the main community effort that I've depended on all this year, which is our Chamber Cares initiative, which brought together businesses, small to large, every kind of nonprofit you can imagine, the Educational Foundation, our civic clubs, all sorts of folks who've been in this together and have been sharing together and working together. Everything from providing personal protective equipment to food, to sharing resources and volunteers, all of the things that make a community effort successful. We have been successful despite the challenges. I like to think that Samaritan House is able to serve our community effectively because we are of, by, and for our community. In fact, what I love to say is Samaritan House is the great heart of a really great community and one that I'm very proud to live and serve in. Dan, it's to you.
That's wonderful, Bart. Thank you so much for sharing. You talked about a lot of the different PPE and personal protective equipment and things that kind of came out of this this group of wonderful people and the things that you needed, the service and the volunteers and everybody that have come together from this community. You're right. It's truly magical, and it's a wonderful community to be a part of. I think, one of the great things is coming to the table, like, Joanne, you were talking about this community of people. Many of you were seeking many different things and aid during this time as well. So, Joanne, do you want to take us to the next group?
Yeah, I actually do. But I want to make a comment that says one of the things that was most challenging for us was to always make sure that we weren't doing what we thought needed to be done, but that we acted on the priorities and needs as they became known to us. And that's very different, if you will, than perhaps a Chamber of Commerce operates normally within.
Yeah.
And Bart, you provided for us not only the lens into Samaritan House, but you were also one of our key linkages into the county to really help us with understanding the priorities that would be coming from the county and shaping the way in which we could utilize this amazing network. So thank you for that. One of those connections that became, and she's our virtual Tasmanian devil, is Dr. Eleanor Britter. We all have little nicknames in the background, but this woman is extraordinary. If you've not had the opportunity to meet Eleanor, I please encourage you to do so. Her reach, her depth of knowledge as a medical professional has been critical to our ability to understanding key timing. Dr. Britter, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Joanne. I'm just happy to be part of this group, this amazing, amazing group. Hello to everyone and welcome to everyone. Wherever you are, it is my great honor to thank the Foster City Chamber of Commerce, the creator of the CARES program in Foster City during the worst pandemic that this country has ever seen. Thank you for bringing so many nonprofits, businesses together every single week to collaborate, plan, and to deliver services more effectively and more efficiently to cover all the needs of our communities and beyond. That was just amazing what you have done. My name again is Eleanor Britta. I'm a retired doc and the current president of the Peninsula Special Interest Lions Club, which is a medical and educational club whose primary project is the Global Initiative for Health and Wellness, a free medical service that supplies the Foster City community and surrounding communities of California, other states, the United States, and the international communities. Thank you again, Foster City Chamber. You made it possible for us to keep on target and to work with all of these people by sending them the medical supplies and addressing chronic and infectious diseases, not just COVID, but all of them that were arising during this time. We have created also an online children's program called eKids. And we did because after spending 8 years in the schools with children teaching health, we no longer had the ability to do that. So what to do? So we got together and planned a new eKids intern, an online service for kids. We even have a summer camp that's coming right up. And we were able to supply PPE, medical equipment, food to hospitals, nursing homes, individuals, shut-ins, first responders, restaurants, and other businesses. We couldn't have done it without the help of each and every one of you that are here with us today. You made it all possible. How could we feed people in the cars if not for Bart Charlo, and Samaritan House couldn't do it? How could we address the children's needs if not for Colleen Sullivan and all of her group, right? Couldn't have done it without the Educational Foundation. All of our 150 NCO volunteers, whose companies, and those companies, I should say, that came up to the plate and donated all the equipment and millions of dollars of medical supplies that we in San Francisco Peninsula, state of California. I could go on forever. I've already said it all. And I have to give a shout out to not just Chamber of Commerce, but to Bart Charlo, the CEO. He played a huge part in this, and the Foster City Educational Foundation, both Sonia and Colleen. Thank you so much for being good partners with us, as was Dean and everyone else. And thank you, Dan. Thank you, Joanne. personally for being friends of ours, good friends. Thank you.
It's been our pleasure, Eleanor. It has been a steep learning curve, and you have been a phenomenal educator for us. One of the things that came about that we really had no idea how to address was, if you will, an independent who came to us by the name of Supatra Chuchivech. And Supatra had come to us at the Chamber of Commerce as a resident and somebody interested in wanting to volunteer in the community, but having identified a need and a real concern. And Supatra, if you don't mind, I would love for you to be able to share with everybody what it was that you saw and what you brought to us, and express how it was that this team helped you get your project off the ground. You'll just need to take yourself off of mute.
That's the phrase of 2020 and 2021. I just want everyone to know.
Thank you, Joanne, for giving me the opportunity to, to talk about what happens and how I experienced the pandemic and the responses to it with the Chamber Cares initiative this past year. I am a 40-year resident of Foster City and have consulting work in here, for all this time from my home office. In March of last year, when the pandemic hit the US, I watched the news and noticed that the first two casualties in Washington, the state of Washington, are elderlies in elderly homes. After that, the news that comes in the following weeks shows, is clear to me that the highest casualty, the fatality, strikes among the elderly in nursing home. Meanwhile, we have a shortage of PPE, and the news said that it will go first to the hospital, rightfully so. But that's it. Therefore, it struck me that all these elderly people and caretakers in the nursing home are left helpless and exposed to danger. It just pains my heart. And I thought to myself, if I can do something, I would like to help find the PPE to supply all these small nursing homes that has fell under the radar because they are too small and they have to wait. I have a few friends who can help me with the delivery or find out where those local nursing homes are, but I don't know where and how I can find that hard to find PPEs. Then I saw an invitation in my email to join the Zoom of Chambers Care Initiative, sponsored by the Foster City Chamber of Commerce. Somehow I just thought, well, I'm going to join it and see if I can get some traction there. Maybe I can get some impetus there. So I joined, and lo and behold, there are these tons of nonprofits who are passionate and focused on response to pandemic, and individuals as well, and business owners. I was just so surprised and happy. So I present my idea, and not only did I get impetus, it was immediately embraced by Joanne and everyone else. I was very inspired and impressed how they have the access, connections, and efficiency and know-how to find the PPEs, and told me where to go get it. And that solved like more than half or 70% of the problem, right? And an ongoing discussion about how to find cheaper and better PPEs. So after that, I was with a few friends and also helps from members of the initiative such as Supriya Singh, and Bart and Eleanor, I was able to launch the projects. We helped about 10 or 12 small homes in the Mid-Peninsula throughout the pandemic, supplying them the PPE. And not only that, we found other needs such as food that they need delivered to help them, alleviate their exhaustion from, what's happening. Bart, connect me to Samaritan House. And also, I'm not sure who in the committee connect me to Chico Bento, in Foster City. So I named this operation, my small operation, Operation Rear Support, which even now we are doing something that is no longer about supplying PPE because it's no longer a pending need, but we are doing pro bono translation work for hate crime preventions and domestic violence and legal rights to Thai and Indonesian people, and we help distribute that. So we are in the rear and we're supporting. And what I've learned is that we choose to work in the rear because that's where we are good at, but it is important and it is helpful. And I also learned that to join with, to be able to have the chance and the opportunity to join hands with all these inspiring and efficient and passionate people through all these nonprofits, or some of them just individual. It's just so inspiring and so encouraging and make me feel very hopeful about the world. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know about you, Dan, but I've been smiling the entire time. And the reason being is, throughout every single day, we didn't know if what we were doing was having an impact. And then someone like Supatra literally walked through the door. And we should say that while we were deemed a non-essential organization, Mara Curry, who is the heart and soul of our organization, was in the chamber office every single day throughout the pandemic. And so when Supatra basically came to the door, physically distanced appropriately so, she was actually greeted by someone. Her story is indicative of what so many of our small businesses and our independents have done. And we're going to hear from another shortly. But what we want you all to take away from today is these are not, all of these panels and all of this voice is not the exhaustive list of everyone who worked throughout the community during 2020, but it is an illustration of how each of the segments did work and how they each had to augment the way in which they would work in order to be able to be a part of the community and to service the needs. Supatra, for you brought to us a challenge that we had absolutely no insight into. Bart Charlo from Samaritan House worked with the county to help us understand exactly where the PPE was going. And Eleanor Britter, you were our grant machine who was writing grants to be able to secure protective equipment that we could in fact distribute. And Supatra, you were a little team all to yourself. We've never seen more efficient distribution to get to the needs in the community. And when I say community, for purposes of today's conversation, not only is it hyper-local to Foster City, but each of the people, individuals, and entities here today extended the reach. We took care of the needs within Foster City, but as Supatra just shared with us, and Dan, this is what I think floored me the most in those earliest of weeks. In one moment, we were a Foster City Chamber of Commerce, and the next moment, we were focused on servicing needs, and whatever we could provide, we did. So thank you, Supatra, for trusting.
May I add that the last sentence that I had planned to say but forgot is that what I learned from this is the power of one turns into power of 1 plus, 1 plus, 1 plus, 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 plus. And that's a real power. So I just want to invite everyone who have some idea by yourself to join and become the plus, plus, plus.
Thank you. Dan, I don't know where to go next, but it feels like we should probably go to Mary Lou Griffin. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you want to talk about 1++ from Supatra. Let's talk about, our amazing community that kind of helps support internally and donate time. What a perfect example.
Time and money. I'm Mary Lou Griffin. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Foster City. And we have about 77 members. So talking about 1++ times 77 really helps.
Yeah.
And I'm overwhelmed when we were meeting on Thursday mornings with the responsiveness of people to really the forefront of the pandemic. And I can't say that we have not been non-responsive, but we certainly haven't done what Bart Charlo and Eleanor have done, and even Supatra. We do two things, I think, and then we've tried to respond for the community, but we donate money to smaller nonprofits who are really helping the community, as well as to the schools, the park and recreation, the library, all of the things that are centered within Foster City that make the community a wonderful community to be in, and also provide services at the same time. For instance, the library, which has been closed this year, provides a lot of after-school help to latchkey kids, and to poor families that don't have the ability to have computers for the kids to keep up in school. And then again, we try to help people. We've donated to make meals or get meals for seniors who have been locked into their houses and are deathly afraid of going out, a lot of them, and to try to provide some socialization. And we've worked with Marlene's Foster City Village organization a lot. And so we tend to be at the forefront at the beginning of the year for community organizations, as well as we provide scholarships for a lot of very, very needy kids now. And then on the spur of the moment, if somebody really needs something, we try to help them out. And the pandemic has impacted us more that we have been unable to raise funds because there's been no events to raise funds with, except for Bart Charlo managed to, and Dan too, do a bang up job on their raffle or funding things. But and that the inability to raise funds really impacts what we can donate out to the community, and it really impacts it next year. And we have had a horrible, horrible pandemic, but I think that we are really, truly going to see nasty, nasty consequences from that pandemic for the next couple of years at least. And we're trying to help out as much as we can, and we'd love to help you in any way we can. We donated to the Winter Wonderland. I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, "Oh, that was just wonderful. It was so much fun," because people need socialization too, and they need to get out. And that's one of the key things that particularly with older people, it's needed. So anyway.
You know, Mary Lou, I really want to call attention one major thing that I noticed, and that happened early on with the Rotary, specifically, as well as many of the other organizations, Lions and Foster City Village and Second Harvest, which Marlene brought to the table early on.
Right.
The Rotary of Foster City joined the force to do the Million Mask initiative early on in the days. And what I really appreciate about Rotary is that, in case nobody was aware of this, Rotary has committed to initially to eliminate polio from the world, and one of the major things that they've done moving forward, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mary Lou, but they work on bringing play sets and wheelchairs to many different communities throughout the world, and working diligently to make life better for those individuals internationally. And what I want to call to attention, because you were chatting about some of the things that you were going through, you guys shifted priority early on in the pandemic, and you started to focus on the immediate need, which was the masks. And I will never forget this. We were in a meeting, and it was either you or Mark Watson, who was also a part of the Rotary Club. You came to the table and said, we need masks. And one of the things that was really profound is that I watched the community come together and say, oh, I can sew masks. I can do masks. We've got a group of individuals from the Boy Scouts group in Foster City who came to the table and helped. So the impact and the profound positive nature and help and engagement that the Rotary Club of Foster City has done in this pandemic is insurmountable. I think it is something truly that, you know, I'm a huge advocate of, like, oh, I don't talk to me, like, don't put me in the spotlight. But I will say that the Rotary Club of Foster City truly did step up to the table and provide a service that was needed not only locally, but countywide, statewide, and internationally. And so I want to just take this opportunity to applaud you and everyone at the Foster City Rotary for doing such amazing work, not only in a time of a pandemic, but globally, with your initiatives and your support.
Well, thank you. We also help support playgrounds or get playgrounds up to the Yurok Nation, but I was thinking that we were addressing the local community here. So thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
And I just want to chime in there as well. And I'm going to say that one of the most amazing experiences for us is that, Mary Lee, while you say we didn't do as much as someone else, this isn't about quantity. This isn't about how much any organization cranked out, because with all due respect, just because we do a lot of stuff doesn't mean we do it well. What was extraordinary about the collaboration and the teamsmanship that was created through this pandemic with this initiative is that each of you were able to take your expertise in the areas in which you had the lead, and you allowed others to follow and to be a part of. So while you may think you didn't do as much as others, the role that you played was in the area that you had the greatest engagement, which allowed us to have the highest confidence that the commitments and the work that we were doing would be delivered as we were all intending. And you can't buy that.
Well, thank you. You know, I also think that the chamber had a huge impact on me and on everybody else, many of them in Rotary, many of them not. But for instance, every time you announced that there was a grant, every time you announced that there was funding here, every time you announced, you know, something that helped small businesses, I ran out, and so did other people. And I talked to my fellow Rotarians who were in small businesses or to the local community and say, hey, did you know about this? Did you know about that? And I really got several comments from several small business owners that helped them to survive. And that's so important.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Dan, if you don't mind, I think that is actually the perfect segue to Sal Sensoprano CPA. While we have been trying to get him to give Dan and I some level of college credits for the intense crash course that he has been putting us through as it relates to not PPE, but PPP, Sal has been an instrumental partner to us and to the myriad of independent contractors and small businesses. We have held roundtables by segment, independent, retail, commercial center tenants, small business under 25. We've done what we could to be able to segment the different types of businesses that align with the ways in which financial relief programs would be made available so that it could be distilled in a way that it could be understood. And Sal, we would welcome you to share not only your experiences in your own business, which the demands have been extraordinary, but those of your wife's business and the experience of the support that you've been able to give. Thank you so much for your expertise.
My pleasure. And before we get started, Joanne and Dan and the rest of the people in the community of Foster City, I drink to you.
That is a post-tax season beverage right there,
You
folks.
gotta believe it, buddy.
And in complete chamber style, I'm going to do a plug for an independent local business in our community.
Oh my gosh. 2020 was, everybody's already said it, it was just an insane, and my favorite word, chaotic year. And it's still going, at least in the stuff that I was doing. So basically what I did with the chamber was I was in an instructional situation, trying to give people hope that all these programs that were coming out, how do you apply for them? Where is it going? And my favorite phrase for the year was, be patient. Be patient because things were changing daily. Even though I would, be getting whatever information I was getting on a daily basis, it never failed that specifically with paycheck protection, it changed every single day because the government in and of itself was trying to figure it out, right? They'd set up a set of rules and then people would gravitate to those rules. And then all of a sudden, bam, they realize, hey, those rules don't work for everybody. So now we got to fix that. So trying to get those members that were on with me, I don't even remember how many weeks it was, but it was a plethora of weeks. And, just to guide them, some I actually did some work with. When it came down to loan forgiveness and stuff like that, I actually helped them to obtain their loan forgiveness and so on. But it was never ending and constant changing. And, you went from one program to the next. And of course, the big issue was the massive error on the part of the Small Business Administration sending out this email that everybody was eligible for an EIDL grant or advance, if you will, up to $10,000. And just in California, and I know this for a fact, there was 17 million applications, but only a handful of people got any money because then they changed the rule. First, it was everybody could get it. And then it became, you had to have payroll, right? So it kind of messed everybody up. Where's my money? Where's my money? But then paycheck protection came, and that was another myriad of like a puzzle. You had to go from one place to the next just to obtain what you were trying to do. And then, of course, we had and this was all just 2020. Forget about what happened in 21.
We're not there yet, Sal.
What's that?
We're not there yet. That's next annual meeting.
Oh, you'd be surprised where we are right now. You'd be surprised. And then you're talking about the end of the year. So what happened at the end of the year? All of a sudden, you were able to file for loan forgiveness. Oh my God, but I spent all my money in 8 weeks. Oh my God, now they'll give you 24 weeks. Oh my God, what do I do now? I'm completely confused. But I hope I was able to stop the confusion and allow many, many, many of you to get your loan forgiveness. It came down to 5 questions. 5 questions. in a short form, you plugged in like 2 numbers, 3 numbers, boom, you were dead. I said dead. I meant done. Sorry. I was dead from answering all the questions, but you were done.
So Sal,
Yes.
what everyone is seeing of you right now is actually, who knew that accounting could be fun?
You have no idea.
Yeah. So, for us, I want to be able to smatter in, Dan, if you don't mind, a couple points. One of the things that a chamber is a membership-driven organization. And what we learned very early on was that we didn't know who or how to help, but we wanted to make ourselves available. So we opened our doors, and then we had individuals like Sal Centoprano, who evidently have some sort of legendary, status, and it became a draw because when we would do our Ask the Expert series, and Sal happened to be the expert, and we had several experts that were wonderful, but Sal's draw, can you hear that little drawl that he's got? I don't think he's a native San Franciscan. I believe he comes from the East Coast. So okay. I don't want to digress, but this man, literally, we should have sold tickets because we basically had people joining us from New York, from Pennsylvania, and in the states that he actually knew the laws, he would actually address the question. And Dan and I would just watch it like it was a game show. So while we make light of it, the reality is that you have provided your services to us at a pro bono level. And as this organization has not had the funds, you have been able to provide services to our small businesses to get them started and to provide a direction that is as difficult as it is for you to say thank you, because I know how hard that is. The reality is we genuinely could not do this without you. And whether that was Dan coming to you officially as Hillbarn Theater, as Dan Demers himself, which we'll get to, was trying to identify ways in which to obtain relief for his own entity, or if it was Masako Houston, who's going to share her experience in working with us. You were a critical part of the team at every single moment that we needed expertise to clarify the deluge of information. And your advocacy back into our elected offices and our ability to identify priorities in advance to share them with Councilmember Hindi so that he too could carry them into the electeds and to be able to share with Roseanne Faust of Samsita, the ability to be able to extend the reach of that advocacy was key. So while you think what you did was what you do all day, every day, please know that what you did in those moments had an incremental effect, and we are forever.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, but I just want to correct 2 things, okay? Number 1, I did not work pro bono. I got a pizza. Okay. So please don't forget about the pizza because it was a delicious pizza. Yes, it came from New York, but it was a delicious pizza. Okay. That's number 1. And number 2, this is a very important thing. See, when the settlers came from Europe, from the United States, they landed in New York, Ellis Island. So we speak correctly. And then it migrated to the West. So really, I speak correctly. You guys don't. Okay? So it is an orange, right? It's a potato.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how the Italians said Staten Island. And that's how they named it Staten Island.
What a deal. Especially when you're from Brooklyn, that's even better. But I do thank you. It actually has been a wonderful, wonderful honor to help as many of you, and even behind the scenes, those that contacted me after the fact, whether email or I got to speak to them on the phone or whatnot. It was wonderful that everything, when it finally came to fruition, worked exactly as we said. And Dan, you were mentioning about, 2021 is next year. Well, no. We've got issues right now. You've got the restaurant revitalization situation. You've got PPP round 2, which Well, I got people that are telling me, I didn't even get round one. What do you mean round two? And stimulus payments, right? I got a blurb on my tax service the other day that says there's another one coming. And I don't know what to say. It's just one after the next after the next. This tax season, to be quite honest, not to digress too far, was an abomination. It was the worst I've ever had in 42 years. Why? Because for the first time in my career, you made retroactive rule changes on March 11th. And at that point, I already filed 400 tax returns. So now I had to fix 200, all because of the unemployment issue. I'm not saying that the rule was bad. I'm just saying it wasn't timed very well. That's for sure.
So what you're lending yourself to is now when you get back from vacation, I guess we'll be hosting a new Ask the Expert session on what it is that we need to expect. But thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So may I just say to Sal?
Hey, Sal, the Borscht Belt wants a piece of that pizza, buddy.
Right. May I just say to Sal, thank you, Sal. It was great. And you say potato and I say patata. And never the twain shall meet, except we did meet because of the chamber. And that was a wonderful
there you
thing.
have it.
Yes.
Masako, Houston, please share with us the experience, the bond that you have with Sal, and the confidence. Literally was a draw. And I know that your business, this is not to be made light of, has been hit very, very hard. And so we'd like to understand your experience and how it is that we've been able to help and work and what it is that you see for yourself coming next.
Thank you, Joanne, and thank you, Dan, and thank you, Mara. Hi, everyone. My name is Masako Houston. I am a CEO of AsiaLink Language Services. Thank you for allowing me to share my story of how the pandemic impacted my business today. My story is unique to me, but it may be shared by other independent contractors and small businesses. AsiaLink provides simultaneous conference interpretation services globally to conferences and meetings. Many of you have probably heard of translation and interpretation services. For those who may not be familiar with either, let me briefly explain. Translation and interpretation are similar in that both services convert words from one language into another language. The difference is that translation converts written work into another language, while interpretation converts spoken words from one language to another in real time. AsiaLink was established in 1996. In my 25 years of being in business, I have never experienced anything like the pandemic, which started in March 2020. Since the pandemic started, we were asked to stay home as much as possible, and traveling was very restricted. Sadly, travel and social gatherings are essential for conferences to take place. As you can easily imagine, AsiaLink's business dropped to zero because no conference means no business. Therefore, I was extremely appreciative when I received an invitation from the Chamber of Commerce to join a Zoom roundtable forum. It was great to learn about some financial relief programs such as Paycheck Protection Program, pandemic unemployment insurance, and other relief programs. I also shared with my colleagues the type of information I received through the Zoom meetings hosted by Foster City Chamber of Commerce, and some found it interesting as well. The Chamber was very gracious in extending their welcome to my colleagues who live in Washington, Utah, New Jersey, and New York. We are all so grateful. The pandemic emphasized how the world is connected. We rely on one another to survive, and it was helpful to learn about how other businesses are managing the impact of the pandemic. For now, I continue to do all I can, much like so many other independent contractors and small businesses. The support from a community creates opportunities. It's good to know our Foster City Chamber of Commerce is doing all it can to create connections so that we can remain hopeful about the future of our business. Thank you very much for having me today and give me this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you, Joanne, Dan, Mara, and my special CPA, Southern Soprano, on behalf of everyone who have helped by you. Thank you.
Thank you, Masako. Sean, oops, sorry, Dan.
No, go for it. I was just you hear about everyone going through different phases of discovery and engagement and understanding, and I love Masako's story and conversation because it was so moving for me to watch her bring her colleagues into the fold and have them the ability for them to ask questions of Sal. Like you said, Sal has a wealth of knowledge in many different states. But one thing that I appreciate was that he was never afraid to say, well, I don't know. I don't know, and I'll look it up. But the minute that happened when Masako brought her colleagues into the fold and to the meetings, it really opened up the scope, right? And it started for me to kind of widen the understanding and the power of this community, right? And I think we started to realize that everyone's situation is completely unique. And everyone brings to the table their own set of challenges that they face, but we were always open as a group to taking them on and figuring out a way to help solve them in whatever way we can. One of the most profound stories for me is that of Oceanic Foot Spa. I don't know about you, Joanne, but Sean Pang, if you want to take yourself off mute, your story is very, very unique and moved me multiple times, and just how much what you did for the community and the issues that you brought forward to Joanne, and we worked together. But why don't you tell your story? It's really powerful.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, everyone. I'm very honored to be here today, serving customers in Edgewater Plaza for exactly 10 years. We could not stay after being raised rent significantly in the middle of the pandemic, July last year. Today is not the time to recount what happened between us and the landlord, but I do want to create awareness so that the city could do more to stop the landlord harassment practice. After sending a farewell email to all of our customers, I received a call from a lady, and it's the most touching message that I've ever received. Let's hear it.
But to let you know.
Okay.
I'm excited about what the next chapter can bring you, but yet very, very sad to know that you will be leaving Edgewater and Foster City. And I am only sorry that we could not do more to be able to help. So if you wanted to give me a shout back, I would really like to understand more about how that landlord dealt with you, to do our best to try to get in front of the situation occurring again with any of the other tenants. I don't know if it's something that you want to talk about, something that you want to confide in me, but I would very much welcome the opportunity to learn from your experience and would very much appreciate your help in working to make sure that the chamber and the city can do whatever it can to ensure that this doesn't happen further. But I just really wanted to personally say thank you for trusting us. Thank you for confiding on us. We do absolutely look forward to seeing you again and to supporting your efforts, whether they be in Foster City or somewhere else, because you will always be a part of our business family and a part of our community. And I look forward to staying in touch.
clean just like you said. What is it like?
Well, you know how to really get a girl, don't you?
Oh, Sean, are you there?
Right.
Is there somebody in the background
Yes,
there
I'm
we can
here.
hear? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we may have lost him. While he's
Aren't there
potentially
rules
coming back.
about privacy? Peter, can you ask the city attorney, because we don't have an attorney on.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna while Sean is video is kind of mellowing out, hopefully, and his internet stable. I do want to take this opportunity because what you all witnessed, and I had no idea that was going to happen. So I'm super thankful on many levels. But I would like to share with all of our audience and all of you. Many people in this panel have felt the heart and the passion and the drive and the sheer unrelenting support of our vice chair, Joanne Bohegan, whether she is in a whatever seat she sits in whatever community she sits in. And that is just a very small snippet and taste of who she is, what she believes in, who she believes in, and how she's consistent and belligerent at times to help you. And so from all of us, I'm going to take this opportunity because it probably won't come up again. A big heartfelt thank you to Vice Chair Joanne Bohegan as a major heart and artery valve of this Community Cares initiative, because without her, this would not have taken place. So if you're in the chat, show some love to Joanne, and everybody else on here. I'm giving a round of applause. Even though you're on mute, you're getting it. And I know you love this so much, so I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you. I'm hoping that Sean can come back in, but
yes.
His story is one that, and I think
there he is. Welcome back.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, you all know that's Joanne. Listening to her message, can you sense how much she cared, how heartfelt emotion in that message? This is the voice that kept me to maintain the high spirit, knowing that someone really cared. She did exactly what she said in the message, and she continued to help us after we left Foster City, helping us resolve the permit issue in Burlingame, helping us with a special grand opening in Burlingame with Mara and Dan when we reopened 5 months later. What she's done and what the whole team at the Chamber has done set a great example of how Chamber can really help a business navigate the most difficult time in our modern history. It is you guys who helped me through those sleepless nights. The love, support, and care is beyond geological boundary and beyond formality. So today, Oceanic is still a proud member of Foster City Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to the Chamber's team, and thank you to all of our loyal customers. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean, very much. I want to take this moment to actually let you know that while you've all been stuck with Dan, me, and Mara for 15 months, we have been the faces to our board of directors who have made the ability for us to do what we do the absolute priority, to the level that, you know, we're probably taking greater risks to be able to deliver what is needed in the moment than perhaps would be comfortable for most. And our board is comprised of representatives from independents to majors. And without their support, we really wouldn't be able to do what we've done. I cannot believe that you still have that voicemail. And you and I will have a discussion offline.
Thank you for that, Sean.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Given a whole lot of people a whole lot of ammunition, because as you know, and Roseanne probably knows this most people don't think that there's a big heart here. So thanks for letting my secret out of the bag. But genuinely, your story sadly is indicative of so many. And we're going to hear from Peter and Sam a little bit later on, but the learnings that and the confidence that you shared it with us to understand the way in which the owners and management of the different centers of commerce were operating really allowed us to build the confidence and trust with the other tenants. And although we have not been successful in maintaining you and others, we have learned a significant amount because of what you've imparted to us. And we're doing everything we can to ensure that those that remain with us not only remain with us, but have the opportunity to continue to grow. But you pointed out something really important to us in this new chamber, and that is that this Foster City Chamber is beyond the geography of 4 square miles. What we've learned from each other is shaping the priorities of this organization. And we by no means intend to go after businesses in other communities. But what we do know, and what has been solidified over the course of those last 15 months is, and Dan, I think you and I say this on a daily basis, relationships are what create opportunities, and opportunities are not always good news, but they allow us to be informed and ready and focused in the areas that can have the greatest impact. And for that, thank you for your trust, and thank you for allowing us to continue to be your partner. Dan, how about you take the next one?
Great. Let's go ahead and I'd like to introduce David Melchner. David, you're the incoming president for the Lions Club. Why don't you share with us some of the great things that the Lions Club has been doing over the past year?
We've been doing quite a bit in this past year. Learning how to Zoom is one of them. And
yes,
and it's challenging because we have a lot of members who've been around for quite some time, and that was a challenge. But now we have a lot of people are technically advanced now with the technology because of this COVID times. But it actually brought the club closer together and still wanting to serve the community, even with the challenge of COVID. We've done our usual traditional White Cane Bingo event. We recently were part of the car parade that you all have seen because of the 50th anniversary. What we're going to do now is look forward to coming out of COVID and getting the community out as soon as times are safer. We've been a little restricted on doing what we would have liked to do in continuing the tradition because of COVID. So we are the simple things, the drive-in movie, popcorn night. We've done that a few times and participated in those type of events. And it's been a little bit limited because of COVID, but I think in these next 4, 5, 6 weeks, we're going to see a big change, especially with the restrictions lightening up. And we look forward to continuing our patronage and serving and working with our community and working with the chamber to better serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. It's great to watch the Lions Club really boots on the ground early on in the days, volunteering with food distribution and working to get people PPE and all of that with our, in the early days, we had Ray Rosenthal, an amazing individual in the community, kind of coming in and helping and supporting any way that they could. And then using the requests and focus of the Lions group to really guide some more of these amazing conversations to help the community in a larger aspect. So I really appreciate and thank everything that the Lions Club continues to do and has done. And I know I look forward to seeing you guys back in the community doing that cookout.
Yeah, we have the cookout coming up for 4th of July. That's going to be pretty much our first big event during all this COVID times. Lion Pierre Morrison is out right now at the rec center passing out food for Eric Green fundraiser. It's the son of a police officer who's not doing too well, but he's staying happy and his morale is pretty up from what I've heard. Good. So we're doing the best we can during these times, and if we could do more, we would. But we're going to be going full steam ahead here in the next few weeks, and hope to see everyone come out for summer concert events in the park with Rotary and us. We're going to do one of those together. And so we'd like to see all of you out there.
Wonderful.
And stay healthy.
Great. Thank you, David.
David, like we mentioned with the Rotary, it's not about how much, it's about what you're doing, and what you're doing is exactly what needs to be done in the moment. So thank you so very much. I'd like to turn our attention to the Foster City Village. We've made reference to some of the needs and demands from our elderly in the community. And we have had a huge champion and advocate in that arena through Marlene Hopper and Supriya Singh. So we'd like to ask the village if they would kind of share with us and educate on what it is that the village is about and how it is that you have been working your way through the year of 2020.
First, I'm Marlene Hopper, and I would like to thank Joanne, Mara, and Dan for the attention, for the education, for the ability to participate with everybody that is on this panel. We may be small in numbers, but we're pretty mighty in effect. I personally am an original 9-year member of Foster City Village, which is part of the national movement. There's 250 villages across the country. Villages support older adults with the goal of being able to continue to live independently in our own homes, to enjoy socializing and have lifelong learning opportunities. Don't look for our building, as there is none. We are a virtual village with volunteers providing the services. You talk about a heart earlier. Our logo is a heart, and our volunteers are the heartbeat of our village. Statistically, in 2020, our volunteers provided 4,969 services for an average total of 414 hours a month, which equals an economic value of $1,361 per person per month, or, are you ready for this? $156,573 total for the year. That is powerful. Thank you. Today, our programs have morphed into Zoom fitness workshops, cooking classes, lunch and learn. We provide transportation. We make home visits, daily telephone calls, and a myriad of events to prevent isolation and keep us involved and active. And now for the rest of the story is my partner, Supriya.
Thanks, Marlene. So as Marlene said, we have sought to promote a lot of things within and amongst our older adults in our community. We have brought to them health and wellness, one-on-one connectedness, and really we have sought and strived to bring the community to them because many of them don't get out much. During COVID, inspired by many of you, including Bart here, we responded by expanding our meal and food distribution, not only at local centers, but into people's homes where they need it. We have supported local restaurants, and we have done this while keeping our recipients and all of our volunteers safe. Many thanks to all of you at the Chamber of Commerce. Joanne, Mara, Dan, I've loved working with you. Many of you are Chambers, CARES, partners. Colleen, for introducing me to your neighbor on the Loner Tablet project, thank you. And many of you. Thanks also to the City of Foster City, Sam and Peter. You have been instrumental in helping us. And into the future, we plan to continue delivering ever more value and to ever more people who will need us. And we will require all of your help because in spreading the word, because for the work we do and the people who need us the most, well, they live in isolation. And getting the word out is one of our biggest challenges. But we expect and we hope that as we work with you all in very creative and innovative ways, that we will in fact succeed in reaching out to every single older adult that needs our help. Lastly, in closing, I just wanted to bring something to all of your attention. So during this pandemic, we have all faced challenges for the first time, right? Social isolation, economic struggles, health uncertainties. And many of these we've actually faced for the first time in our lives. But for our clientele, for the ones that the Foster City Village works with, these are actually things that they have dealt with for years and years and years. And the fact is that they will continue to need all of those our services for, till the days to come. And unless we are all there working together, working innovatively, we will not get there. So my appeal to all of you is to help us, work with us, work together. And I will reach out to you in the coming days, as will Marlene. So looking forward to continue working with you and creating and delivering on our mission of building dynamic community around our older adults.
Thanks so much, Supriya. You've mentioned a few times there seems to be this core collaboration, and I know we're kind of coming on time, and I want to make sure that we can get the conversations going. Dan, do you mind? Can we shift gears a little bit?
Please shift away.
I'd like us to kind of bring this back up to the district and to our region. And so I'd like to invite Colleen Sullivan and Sonia Tappan from the San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation to share their experiences and how they've been working throughout the year.
Thank you. So Colleen Sullivan and I have the honor of representing the many, many volunteers that we have with the San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation. San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation has been working so hard to increase the impact on educational access and opportunities for the 11,000 students in the 21 schools in our district. When COVID forced schools to move to distance learning, the Ed Foundation asked the schools, how can we help? We learned that over 1,000 families had no access to the internet, and so those children could not learn at home during distance learning. As we were grappling through the many urgent needs that were starting to become apparent in the school community, the Foster City Chamber invited us to join the CARES initiative. It was amazing. The weekly nonprofit meetings became the lifeline for the Education Foundation. Among the participants were, as you see here, Samaritan House, Hillbarn Theater, the Foster City Rotary, the Foster City Village, Samsita, Thrive, so many more. They just became our friends. Through these meetings, the San Mateo District Director of Child Nutrition, Andrew Solis, and Director of Technology, Peter Kazanis, were able to share the family's immediate needs with the nonprofits, the Foster City Council members, the community service organizations, and they were there to listen. These conversations resulted in new partnerships to meet the emerging needs, and it just enabled us to partner and receive grants from civic-minded corporations, cities, community groups, individuals, just an outpouring from the community from all places where we never expected. It's just an incredible experience. Over the past 14 months, our Chamber Cares meetings have forged so many new partnerships, opportunities to share resource ideas and to work collaboratively, just to amplify our reach, as so many people have already said. It's just that magnifying effect. We have learned to be nimble, resourceful, openly ask for help, and be ready to serve others. I mean, these results have been astonishing. Our Digital Divide campaign raised over $270,000 to fund the hotspots for Wi-Fi for over 760 families in our district. We partnered with Samaritan House and Bart Chartlow, you know this. We provided backpacks for over 1,500 students. They had the supplies that they needed to attend school. We were able to purchase autonomous thermal scanners for all the schools and the district buildings that allowed the staff and the students to come back to school safely. Eleanor Britter with the Peninsula Special Interest Lions, who is dear and near to everyone's heart, gifted over 20,000 masks for the students in our district. When the Foster City Council let the Foster City Chamber know that there was an opportunity to get FEMA masks, thank you, Sam, we were able to donate over 1,200 masks to our district staff so that they could be safe during in-person learning. And these are just a few of the examples. The list of partners and the impact on our learning community for our students, it just goes on and on and on because of this amazing group. The Ed Fund is a proud member of the Foster City Chamber of Commerce, and we're filled with gratitude for the amazing partnerships that have been forged with this business community. We invite everyone to join the Education Foundation, of course. We also implore, invite, urge all businesses to become members of the Foster City Chamber of Commerce because this chamber really cares. We appreciate them. Thank you.
Okay, my turn. The chamber was also, well, okay, so at the very beginning, I was trying to figure out how I fit in, you know, how we fit in, the Ed Foundation fit in. We're a nonprofit, but we are specialized nonprofit, you know, that helps students. And I really didn't see the impact. And Joanne and Dan and Mara were like, come on, you got to come to these meetings. And I started off sitting on my bed with my 2 dogs in the background, sharing the issues that we were facing. And really, Joanne has taught me this. Shoot. Sorry.
It's okay.
You have to ask for what you need. And when Sam brought the FEMA ask forward, we're like, everybody's quiet, right? Nobody on the call is asking for masks. Not a single person is asking for masks. And Joanne's like, what do you need? We know you need stuff. And so I'm like, 1,500 masks. And Joanne's like, okay, anybody else? And people just, everybody on the call just started, you know, throwing their numbers out. And Sam and the city of Foster City made it happen through FEMA. And I've learned we just need to ask for what we need. And when, when we talk, needs that we aren't even aware that we can help with come up. So like this Supriya and the needing someone to help her source tablets, you know, it's just, she threw that out there and I was able to help, and Eleanor is able to help with things, and Mary Lou and the Rotarians are able to help, and every single person on this call and many others, we were able, it was a safe place to say, this is what the issue that I'm facing. And there was always some solution and some resource. And I don't know if people know this or not, but other chambers are looking to the Foster City Chamber for how they brought together all of these individuals and corporations and nonprofits and service organizations into one place to be able to really work together to make our impact so much stronger. And I'm going to stop now. Thank you. Thank you, Mara, Dan, and Joanne, and the board that supports you.
Thank you. And I think what you are all witnessing is that really we were a support group. And I actually think that Roseanne Faust, with that, I would like to go to you because as a chamber, there were not very many places for us to go. We were deemed non-essential. We were desperate to be able to have access to information, to be able to understand directionally where the county and key initiatives were going so that we could balance what the needs of our local community was demanding of us. And the San Mateo Economic Development Association was one of our primary partners. And so Roseanne, I know we're limited on time and your team has done so much, but share with everybody the experience that you've had, because it has been quite an experience for you and your team as well.
Thank you so much, Joanne. And thank you to you and Dan and Mara, the board of the chamber, the city of Foster City, every single person on this call, all of our nonprofits, our educational foundations and institutions. I mean, literally, we couldn't have done anything that we did without all of you. And I was just reviewing just our website and some numbers. I went back to a letter that I received from the county on March 20th of 2020, which actually deemed Samsita as essential, which allowed us to remain open for all of these months. So sometimes I feel like I've never left my office, but it was all for very good reasons. And the reason that we were deemed essential is we've been in the county since 1953. We were founded by the original entrepreneurs and innovators for San Mateo County. T. Jack Foster is still an honorary board member of Samsita, who I think back to what he did and built and created in Foster City and all of you. And the reason that we really pivoted and swiveled is probably a better word, because we had to keep doing what we do, which is public policy, advocacy, and economic research. But back in March of 2020, we really had to react to the moment. And our goal was to help one business at a time. And we couldn't have done that without the Chamber Cares Initiative, without the work of Joanne and Dan and Mara and the team, without the city managers of San Mateo County has 20 cities. And from that March period, we built things like San Mateo County Strong. We built the Restaurant, Brewery, and Winery Grant Program. The city of Foster City took all of those things that we were putting in place and had a small business grant program. Hats off to the city, the council, the city manager, and the team to deploy dollars within the Foster City community and really make it a priority. Just to give you some sense of numbers, over the last 14 months, San Mateo County has, through Measure K and other county fundraising, $6.7 million in dollars, $31 million in CARES Act funding, an additional $125.8 million in leverage funds. COVID-19 relief funds for all of San Mateo County, $163 million. What Samsita did, when the county put money into small business, we went out to our communities and said to our larger businesses, our larger employers, how can you step up? How can you help us? When CZI, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, said, we want to give you $1 million for restaurants, breweries, and wineries in the southern part of San Mateo County. We said, well, that's not just the cities that matter, all of our cities matter. So we went to the county, we got another $1 million so we could help Foster City restaurants and other cities within the county. We've also raised another close to $2 million from communities to backfill some of the small businesses. But it isn't just about money, folks. It's about the call that Joanne made to that business in Foster City. And I'll break up because I hear that call in my head. And saying to Sean, how, we don't want you to go. How can we help you? Because one of the things that we have said through all of this is pick up the phone, go to your local, whatever kind of business it is, and thank them for staying open, for providing takeout, for donating to the Education Foundation. It's all about showing that you care. And I think the Chamber Cares Initiative sums that up. I would really encourage you to have a look at samsita.org. We have put out a newsletter almost every day, except 3 in the last 14 months, that gives you insight into information, access to capital, access to grant programs, connections to other things that you might not be aware of. I mean, we are an information source. We are a convening entity. Joanne has attended personally, probably, I think, every single webinar that we've put on, whether, and Dan too, whether it's COVID compliance or whether it's nonprofit something or anything it is. I talk really fast. When Sal talked about New York pizza, actually, Sal, I hope you've been to New Haven, Connecticut, where I grew up 20 minutes from there. And Sally and Pepe's are the famous New York pizza. And so someday I owe you a pizza from there, because there's nothing like East Coast pizza. Sorry, folks, it's one of those inside things we have to focus on. But I'm really proud. Samsita is a Foster City Chamber member. I was really excited when I signed that check this year. And, you know, we will continue to remain a member. We will support the Chamber and the city. And thank you for having us today.
Thank you so much, Roseanne.
Dan, I know we're pushing time, but there's a couple of things that, and we want to make sure that we can still get to Thrive and to Tesla.
Yeah.
Lose Peter Kernajad going into the next segment. But if we can ask Georgia to share with us some of the key learnings that are coming from Thrive, we can then tie it together with our representative of our board in one of our Business Leadership Council companies, and then allow Peter to be able to provide some remarks before Councilmember Hindi.
Thank you, Joanne. I just want to give a shout out first to my East Coast friend, Roseanne Faust, fellow East Coaster, and Samsita in general, the team there, Larissa, everyone, really provided real-time information that was fed to us on a daily basis that we were able to get out to our members. So, and then Joanne, Dan, Mara, like what an incredible annual meeting, what an creative format. This is different and it's exciting. And I think you've managed to take sort of a difficult time and transform it into kind of a celebration of resilience. So I am deeply humbled to be here. It's really, actually, these are really difficult acts to follow. And again, my name is Georgia Farouk. I'm Executive Director of Thrive, which is the Alliance of Nonprofits for San Mateo County. Some of you know that we are a network of over 200 nonprofits, individuals, corporations, and public sector entities as well. And our mission is really to promote and support a nonprofit sector that contributes to the economic and social development of San Mateo County. So this is really in our wheelhouse. We also were pulled in by the famous Bart Charlo, Petra Silton, who's our Director of Advocacy and Education, who wishes she could be here, but has a family commitment, and that's, you know, those are her values. She is there with her family tonight. Bart dragged us in, 8 a.m., come with your coffee. No one looked this good, I swear to you. But like, and I've got my coffee now because I am a coffee drinker, even though it's late. And, you know, one thing we don't always share is that as nonprofit leaders, we need support too, and we're not good at asking for help. So I think there's this common thread of like, hey, we got a lot of morale boosting and moral support. Everyone was very patient in those first few months. I was able to meet when we were meeting on Tuesdays. I had my toddler, who is now 2, climbing all over me. I would have to mute, I would have to stand, and it was quite something. But this group was really accepting. So really, I guess the real thing is that so many of the individuals that you heard today were in the trenches, and that's what Bart told us. These people are going to be they're actually doing the work, right? One person, one mask at a time, which actually, when you're running an intermediary organization, you really lose touch with that. So it was a gift and a learning, and, you know, Eleanor, and just seeing that Joanne just made things happen and made connections happen. So the Chamber initiative, Chamber Cares initiative, we didn't quite understand at first. And we're like, no, they really do care. This isn't just like some sort of couple of meetings thing to say, check the box, we did this. Wow, they're really in it. So it was also an opportunity for us to get hyper local and see how that could be done in different communities. So we do take a regional approach. That's what we do. So immediately after the crisis hit, We partnered with Silicon Valley Council of Nonprofits in Santa Clara County. We had a war room, essentially. It said, what do we know? What do we not know? We started Google groups. We, essentially started communicating. And then my group, Thrive, along with SVCN and Center for Excellence in Nonprofits, were pulled in by the local community foundation and the county, essentially to be reviewing grant applications for nonprofits. We were reviewing almost 100 a week. It was so overwhelming. I mean, from a time standpoint, obviously, but just the sheer need from nonprofits. And I think that's there's more programs to get to. So the main message I want to communicate is that nonprofits are businesses too. That was the message that we were trying to get across. That's why the chamber was a good fit for us. We knew we needed to advocate for funding for nonprofits, because it isn't just, hey, this is going to magically happen. Samaritan House is somehow going to feed 10x 20x more people. Like, that needs to come from somewhere. And that's why San Mateo County Strong was critical, the county's recovery initiative that we partnered on. And so we held forums with Congresswoman Jackie Spear, with the county, to basically review what was happening and how we could provide further support. Fast forward to now, we are just completing a landscape analysis of the nonprofit sector. There are about 3,800 nonprofits in San Mateo County. We analyzed 1,800 of the most active nonprofits. We just completed 150 nonprofit surveys and 50 stakeholder interviews. And what we are doing is, this is in partnership with the county. It's our Strategic Alliances Initiative. We know that the next couple of years is all about sustainability and impact for nonprofits. How do we support nonprofits? We are not advocating for forced working together. We know that nonprofits, unfortunately, the data shows that 10 to 40% are facing consolidation or closure, according to Monitor Institute. We know that number is higher now. And so what we're trying to do is provide a roadmap for opportunities to partner. And we are looking at working with the county to pilot a shared service model. If you need accounting support, human resources support, is there a way that we can scale that and work together, especially for the small to mid-sized nonprofits? So a lot of exciting things. We're also, I just want to mention, partnering with the county on providing safety messages to the community. I think we all need to remember, we're working through 33 local nonprofits, that the crisis isn't over. We could slip back in, go back into one of those terrible colors, zones. And so, wearing, there's still an emphasis on, vaccine outreach and on safety in general that we have to keep up. So with that, I look forward to working with you all, and also to, I'd say, being prepared for whatever next adventure may be in our future. I think right now we're getting a small reprieve from it, but I think this has been good training for future adventures together. So with that, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Mara, so much for having us here today.
Thank you, Georgia, for all the good work that Thrive the Alliance of Nonprofits is doing. It really helps. As you know, nonprofits are constantly looking for individuals and organizations that can help bridge some of the gaps that we may or may not be skilled at. And I speak from an art standpoint. So I appreciate your advocacy and your leadership and your open doors to bring people together. And I'm so thankful to Bart for bringing you guys in and bringing you into the meetings. It's just been phenomenal to have Petra and you both there. And I also can't believe that you're little boys too. So with that, talking about energy, let's move to Tesla. How you like that segue? How's that, folks? Yeah?
That was pretty
Melvin.
That was pretty good.
Why don't you, Melvin, are you still there? Yeah, he's coming back. Here he is.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. Welcome.
Technical difficulty. Not much to say. I think a lot of people have given very personal, heartwarming stories from a, I would say, business standpoint, and then also personally, right? So a lot of great synergy here. And I think the one thing I could say is that this is what we aim for, right? March 2020, this initiative kicked off, and look where we are now. So really be proud of really the individual collective efforts from all the way from the big organizations down to the small ones, all here for the same goal, right? People had needs. Organizations were falling. People really needed support. Chamber Cares Initiative was a spurned idea. Joanne Dan Marr really said, you know what, let's run with this. And I think what we saw as part of the Business Leadership Council, representing that from Tesla and then some of the other folks is, hey, why not, right? We had so many things going on amongst each other. And we looked around our circle and said, how can we help each other? And then how can we emulate that across these communities, right? How can we reach out and say, hey, the chamber's actually here? And I think that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing an evolution. And I think the beauty of it is, we're on the downslope of COVID. So, hey, we can ride this wave to really get engagement, solidarity, and I want to say just overall adoption, right, of this particular initiative overall, as we see the communities grow, as we're seeing small, large, and impactful organizations take shape, right? We're learning about each other right now. This is a beautiful thing, right? Half of us on this call may not even know each other, or we may, but we're learning about different elements of each other and our organizations that are supported towards this common goal, to me, which is the blueprint, right, of moving forward as a collective. And so super excited. Just want to say that off the jump, because I think that needed to be said. I want to thank everybody on this call. I've sat here and I've been honestly just really excited from here. I don't look like I'm excited, but I have been. This is the best part of my day because I'm actually getting positivity flowing, right, from individuals that are representing things that are true to them and that are true to their organizations. And for Tesla, what we did, just as kind of a little backlay, because you're like, well, what did you guys do? How did you cause, the bid was out there. How did you guys help the vid when it came to organizations, families, different folks that were struggling financially, medically, right? Tesla, we were creating ventilators. I flew across the Buffalo and literally handed out 10,000 ventilators, right? Went down to Foster City Chamber of Commerce, went to Joanne's office. Joanne, she said, hey, senior home's really struggling, need masks. I literally brought physical masks over there. I bottled sanitizer. I was on the front lines, literally bottling handmade sanitizer to hand out. Even though we couldn't sell it, it was Tesla. We were literally saying, hey, listen, this is what we can do. So those little items and things like that really show the prowess, really show the bravado, and really the perseverance of not just the individual, but hey, you know what? We represent something that people call humanity. And we know when people say, hey, I need your help, it's not a monetary gift. It could be you just giving your energy. It could be this simple call, right? This forum alone could be the difference between someone saying, you know what? I didn't think there was something or someone out there that truly had my back. It wasn't, a doctrine. It wasn't writing a nice website and saying, come and join, right? The Bart Charles of the world aren't just a figure, right? These are people you can touch. And these are individuals and collectives that say, yeah, we truly are walking the walk and talking the talk. So for me, that's what I love. And I'm really proud to be a part of this. But more importantly, let's see how far we can take this. We're in the middle of 2021. We're about to literally come out from this hibernation of COVID. And the beautiful part is there's still people that need help. There's still people out there and organizations still struggling, right? Trying to get back to par levels. And so this is the next step, right? What's the next wave on this roadmap as a collective to make more of an impact as we see ourselves really walk out of the drolls of COVID and really kind of say, we're taking that first tiny baby step towards reality. Let's all work together to get everyone back to that par level so that we can have great times like this next year. Not talking about COVID. We're not talking about things that we're trying to give. We're really empowering folks, right? We're giving those people the energy and we're really going full circle and showcasing that. So super excited to be a part of this forum, but more importantly, super excited to know where we're going with the leaders on this call, with the direction that we have collectively. And that's pretty much, that's my say. I'm done. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. Appreciate it.
Melvin, this is Eleanor Britta. I want to thank your CEO for helping us get pallets of oxygen flown to India in the past weeks. Pallets and pallets. He was responsible for bringing the airlines, the various friends of his that own airlines, to be able to service India. Very, very important. So thank you very, very much for allowing us to help India the way we did.
Thanks, Eleanor. We won't stop. We won't stop, Eleanor. So I'm glad we keep, this push is a constant. So anything our faction can do to support, we will. Thanks, Eleanor.
Melvin, thank you. Your energy is one of the driving forces behind our new board. And we know that several years back, there were challenges and questions about the veracity of this organization. And it is with the contributions from individuals like yourself and the organizations that you're representing that are fueling the things that we're doing. And together, I think we're doing some pretty cool things. What you've articulated is this confluence of how community has come together. We have shared experiences, and some of us may or may not have the resources and access that others do. But when we've been able to articulate where and how to create those connections, it's been multidimensional tic-tac-toe that we've played day in and day out. We together have defined and realized a sustainable foster city. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Peter Pranajad, who is the new city manager for Foster City, to be able to share with us the way in which the city has seen the lessons and the learnings and where and how he and his council will be moving forward. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Chamber, everybody that's been listening in. It's a pleasure to serve as your city manager. It's only been less than 5 months. And as I've been telling the council, we've been hitting the ground running. So a lot of respect and admiration for the council for putting in the long hours representing you all, their constituents, their stakeholders. Last night, they were well into 1 o'clock or almost 2 o'clock in the morning when I left. So that's them doing their work representing their constituents. So my hat off to them. Sam is a trooper among the five and doing the great work of the people. So let me just start by saying the council has really taken to heart this pandemic, and the level of effort that they have really put forth is a testament to how serious they take their responsibility. They're not a paid council, they're volunteers. They put in the long hours reviewing the agenda, talking to their stakeholders, their constituents, bringing those perspectives, doing their own research, and then really spending the time understanding the issues and then delving into deep conversation among their peers to figure out what is the right policy in completely uncharted territory. And this last several months, they really took to heart their vision and mission statement. And let me just share with you some of the representations that they kind of pull together to help demonstrate their commitment. Their vision statement includes statements such as creating a sustainable foster city through smart, inclusive, and efficient actions for both current and future generations. They're not just focused on today, but they're also focused on the future. And one commitment to that is their $90 million levy project that is well underway, ahead of schedule. Again, a testament to the taxpayers of Foster City that approved that tax measure, and we are working hard to make sure that we can get that project done. Their mission statement, just to share some of those learnings as well: the delivery of equitable services, customer focus, emphasis on public safety, neighborhood livability, smart planning, vibrant economy, infrastructure, innovation, sustainable environment. They're focused on community engagement, data, and all of this on their complete and 100% focus on sustainable Foster City and the trifecta that brings that together, which is the economic, social, and environmental elements of sustainable Foster City that carry that mantra forward. My goals as your city manager is really to just ensure that we have a governance model that's fair and equitable, that represents our representative democracy. Your council is an extension of your voice. And through your council, you get your voices heard. And I encourage you to continue to collaborate and work with them. We are here to serve. We'll do the will of the council. They represent the needs of the community. We have a transparent and open government, which allows for efficient and effective operations. We'll do our very best to make sure that when you ask for information, for service, we're there to provide the best service in the most equitable way we can. Two things that I just want to highlight quickly, and then I'm going to pass it on to Councilmember Hindi, is first of all, the council is completely committed to partnership with the chamber. They understand that we have an advocate, we have a champion among us that we need to rely on. And so we last night took to the council a small business support program that we feel is really going to drive this this partnership with the chamber forward. We're excited about it. We're going to be bringing it back to the council on the 21st to solidify and codify that. And then also their commitment to the nonprofits. So partnership with the chamber, again, reaching out to the nonprofits. We had 14 applicants, $157,500 dollars requested. And they're going through that process now. And next month in June, they'll make their final decision. And hopefully we'll get some good news for some additional, I'll just leave it at that, some good news relative to that funding request. So, so with that, it is an absolute humble pleasure and a dream for me to serve as a city manager for such a fine city as Foster City. It takes me back to my roots. I've been in this business for 20 years, you know, and I humbly serve as your city manager. So if ever there is a need, if you have a desire to give me a call, set up a time for coffee, fully vaccinated and ready to meet. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to our fine council member, Hindi.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Let me start by thanking the Chamber of Commerce for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with all of you here, and especially on the annual meeting. The Chamber always highlight the goodness of the community, whether it's a business community, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's the service clubs. And this year is really no different. When I heard about the program of this annual meeting, I said, what a great idea. It's really exciting. And the reason it is exciting for me, and it's a great idea, because so much work has been done over the past year, which has been, needless to say, unprecedented year that we have not seen the like in our lifetime. And just listening to the stories today from all of you, it's really a very heartwarming and humbling experience to know the amount of work and energy that has been done by each and every organization and each and every individual and the business community as well, how much they contributed and how they stepped up to the plate to meet our community needs. I have to tell you, listening to all that's happening today and all the stories, it makes me proud to be part of this great community and to be proud that we have such an organization that really, really want to serve and really want to help because they do care. When I heard about the Chamber's Care Initiative, I obviously joined even before I was a liaison to the Chamber because during COVID, I understood very clearly and very rapidly that none of us can do it alone, but all of us can do it together. And that's really what happened in the Chamber's Cares Initiative. And I look at the mural that we have today here, all these beautiful faces representing all these great organizations. To me, it's the Chamber was the glue that put this mural together that we are looking at today. So I want to take this opportunity and thank the Chamber for really stepping up to the plate. And I know the Chamber, because I was part of the Chamber and I was on the board, the Chamber runs really on a very lean staff, which is a member of one, for those who don't know. And Mara, thank you so much for all the hard work that you do. And Dan and Joanne for stepping up, along with the rest of the board members through this pandemic. But joining the Chamber Cares Initiatives meetings, it really gave me the opportunity to listen and to learn about the needs of the community, and took that to the city and the city council to devise programs and initiatives to be able to do our job, which is to serve and help in any way possible to our community. We're proud of the work that the city has done, and specifically, as you know, we had assisted 50 businesses to the tune of $10,000 of a total of $500,000. We were proud to also assist the nonprofit, the Ed Foundation, the Foster City Village, Samaritan House, and many others. And that is really something that I take pride in, and the city takes pride in, because of the speed that we were able to come through with this assistance. And we are humbled because even with this assistant and everything that we would do really today, listening to these stories, I'm personally humbled for because of all the stories that I heard from all of you. To bring it home, Peter has mentioned the new city, the recently made vision and policy statement that really it was very vision and mission statement that the city council has approved. It really gets us back to where we need to do. And for me personally, it's what is it, why am I serving? It's really to protect, maintain, and enhance the community that I live in, which happens to be Foster City. And another important thing is, and that's why I'm really so excited about our new vision and mission statement, is we are working today, not just to serve the needs of today, but also to make sure that we leave a better tomorrow for the future generation to come in. I know we kind of tight on time, so I don't want to be really taking so much time, but I want to end with this. I really appreciate you one and all, and thank you for everything that you have done. And I'm always available for anything that I could do, and I'm certain that the city as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. There is no question that what you've heard today is that we have had relationships that take us inside our own city, outside. There's push, there's pull, the hierarchy, the bridges from our employers through to our community, through the various partners. There's been no shortage of ways in which we've worked. We are coming to be short on time, but one thing that we have done consistently for the 15 months, because Dan Deemers has been my, if you will, fuse to my hip for the Cheers initiative, is that we've never, the CARES initiative, is that we never really give him the voice for Hillburn. So I want to be able to allow Dan to share some of the key learnings in the kind of Hillburn, the way in which he has had to adapt his own operating. And we're going to make our remarks very short on the chamber, because what we want to do is spend our time, the few minutes, on recognizing just how together we were able to create that impact. So Dan, I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute.
Okay. So Hillburn Theater and Conservatory, when everything kind of shut down, we're an arts education and live theater venue, and we didn't know what would happen. We actually shut down the night an opening night occurred, which was very unique and interesting for us because we were unaware. Now, as all of you know, the arts are no stranger to pandemics, as you have seen throughout the course of history with the Black Plague and all sorts of other fun things throughout history. And still the arts persisted. But what came from this was literally a question of, we have so much creativity, we have so many skills at our fingertips. How can we use those skills to help other people? As very much as part of any organization that is a nonprofit or small business or anything, when we came together through the Chamber Cares initiative, that was the heart. You know, Joanne talks about, you know, all these pieces of coming together and bringing different skill sets and mindsets to the table. We've heard that from everybody so far tonight. So we sat there and we thought, how can we be better, and how can we use our creativity and our out of the box thinking? I always joke with Joanne, I'm the one way outside the sandbox running around like I've had too much sugar, and she kind of brings me back into the box. But we kind of approached it with that mindset. And so when we heard things like Eleanor needing masks, or the Million Mask Initiative through the Rotary, or the Boy Scouts of America needing support, or things like that, we said, well, we have costumers and they're not making any costumes, so why don't we make masks? And so we had a group of individuals who donated their time who make costumes for our show, make masks. We had different individuals who wanted to get involved and help embolden different communities as our art form learned and educated our own selves during this time on how to be better at what we do through engagement and advocacy and, you know, equity, diversity, inclusion. We brought more people together. We sat at a table, much like the Chamber Cares, and really learned and educated ourselves on how to be better and come out of this. But what the main heart of everything that we did was we wanted to engage our community. It was no longer about, a ticket sale, someone coming to see a show. It was just a way to engage. So we opened our doors. We took to the internet because that's what everybody does when the world is in a pandemic. And we decided to do fun shows, introspective conversations. We have a trivia night that's been occurring every Wednesday since the early, pandemic, where people can come and mostly just laugh at my conservatory director and I, just have silly evenings of fun just to take you away for an hour. And so we really focused on community impact because we no longer could fulfill the other ways in which our art form did. I shared with Councilmember Hindi and the other council members a couple of weeks ago that Hillbarn is responsible for $1.4 million of economic stability to Foster City, just with people coming in from San Francisco all the way down to San Jose. And so we weren't able to do that. So we tried to help as much as we could within our community and help those that needed or came to the table with many different requests. So it was really a profound experience for us to hear, as Colleen so eloquently put, we just have to hear people ask what they need, because we were able to use our creativity to fulfill that. So when Bart did the amazing event for the holidays and sharing the holiday gifts, I said, what about snow? I got a group, I got a guy. Let's put some snow out there in California. And we were able to do it, right? And it's something that many different people didn't know about, but I think about it every year come the holidays. And so it was just a unique perspective to be able to use our creativity as an organization to embolden and support other communities. But in the same way, I derive so much knowledge from the Education Foundation, from Thrive, Samsida, all sorts of groups, Marlene, and how the process of how to feed people and donations and volunteers. And I learned how we could process, and learning from people who do this, and we're continuing to do this so that we could then, offer opportunities to our children. One of the great benefits we have is that we're using our creative educational skills to work with Eleanor in the eKids group, and we're excited to create programs and enrich children's lives in a different way. So, it's been a really fun, creative experience for us. I look forward to keep doing it, and coming up with out of the box ideas and watching the Chamber Cares initiative continue, because as we look forward, it's very clear that this group and this family of all different organizations are going to continue to work together to better our community in ways we don't even know yet. So I'm happy to be a member. I'm happy to be here. A big thank you to the city, Sam Hindi, for all of your support and advocacy, from the FEMA masks that you were able to procure to the early stimulus money that you helped infuse with the help of the Chamber into the community. You guys continually come forward and really advocate for those in this city, and we appreciate it. And one thing that I am very I want to bring to the table too is that my biggest hope is that, and I know you are becoming aware of this and know of this, Sam, this group expands beyond Foster City. As Joanne said in the beginning, we service so many people, and Foster City just happens to be where we are, and that's so unique and profound for this city. Not a lot of cities have that. And so I'm a proud member of this community, of this group, and I look forward to so much to continuing helping the community in any way that we can as a group and as a powerful force in the community. So that's my 2 minutes.
And we are literally running long. And so
Yes, thank you everybody for your patience and sticking with us. We really appreciate it.
I'm going to take a few liberties and do something a little different. And that is to say that while this is our annual meeting and that the Chamber of Commerce should be sharing its own stories, the decision this year was to help the community understand that the Chamber of Commerce is in fact a special interest group. But its interest that is special is that of community. And so when we are oftentimes deemed only representatives of our business, we really hope that today, if nothing else, has given you a small glimpse that our business is community. We are here for a very simple reason: to support, to promote, and to advocate. If you've never actually looked up those words, I will challenge each of you to do so. Because in looking up the actual definition of the word, the depth and power of each of those words will demonstrate exactly what it is that, whether it be our chamber or any other chamber, should be doing with and for you all day, every day. We have learned that the process is not the product, and it is not for us to identify the value of the experience that each and every one of you needs to have. It is our role to do our best to understand where and how to create the environment and to earn your trust to be a part of helping you achieve your goal. There are many challenges that lie ahead for this organization. We have not, if you will, invoiced a member since 2019. That was a business decision that our board made. If our moment in time was to be your partner at this time, there is no greater value and no greater role that we could play. So as we have looked and worked to break and rebuild our own organization a couple of times over the last several years, we have done our best to evolve with changing times, to partner for impact, to commit and deliver on whatever it is that is needed by us, to extend our reach to the best of our abilities, to create opportunities and develop them wherever possible. And our last commitment to you in 2019 at our last meeting was to bridge communities. Little did we know that COVID was going to solidify that the communities that we were working to bridge would be those based in common interest, actions needing to be taken to evoke change, to create a quality of place, to turn theory into practice, and to take whatever circumstance that we are driven by and make it the new reality. Thank you to each and every one of you. We are excited to have the opportunity to share more with you about the chamber, its focus, and the key areas that it will be concentrating on in the coming year, but we're going to do that at another time. What we want to do right now is to recognize those who have had the greatest impact and who are deserving of an impact award for 2020.
Impact awards, here we go.
Here we go. So while awards are often about an individual, Dan, this year, our board decided that the real award is to go to the entire community. For one of the things that all of you know that I have struggled with is the definition of essential. Each and every person in any community has been essential to someone at some point in time. For those of us that have had access to information and understanding of the key priorities and the ability to give voice to others, we've had the opportunity to accelerate some of those efforts. But we want to recognize in particular 3 areas: partners, leadership in business, and those who we would not have been able to make any of it happen without. So Dan, this will be the fastest award show on the planet.
But I'm excited. Should we start with the partners first?
Let's go.
Okay, I'll take the first 2. Up first for the Partner Impact Award goes to Samaritan House of San Mateo County. Congratulations. And the Peninsula Special Interest Lions Club. Congratulations on your Partner Impact Award.
The Foster City Lions, the Rotary Club of Foster City,
We'd like to also give the Partner Impact Award to Blair Island, the Cyber Lions Club, and the San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation.
The Foster City Village. Sorry, Dan. Hill Barn Theater and Conservatory.
Well, thank you. We'd also like to award Partnership Impact Award to Thrive, the Alliance of Nonprofits of San Mateo County, and San Mateo County Economic Development Association, SAMCEDA. And last but not least, Joanne.
The City of Foster City. Why are we recognizing you as entities? We know that each and every one of you, your level of humility through the last 15 months has been a sheer joy and a demonstration in what leadership really is. At every juncture, you have taken the opportunity to recognize your teams. And we know it does, no pun intended, take a village to make it happen. So your organizations have been key partners to the Chamber Cares initiative. And we would not have been able to do what we have been able to do without your organizational support. So thank you to each of you. Should we share what the award looks like for
Why not?
Or to wait until the end?
Let's wait till the end. Let's wait till the end. Let's jump into leadership in business, shall we?
We shall.
Okay, Leadership in Business Impact Award. We'll switch each one. I'll start. Gilead Sciences, Inc. Leadership in Business Impact Award.
Visa.
Zooks.
And Amazon. These four organizations have been instrumental to our ability to carry forward with the programming that we had committed to. When the pandemic hit, we, like any other organization, had uncertainty in our ability to know if we could deliver on our programming. These four entities not only were key partners to our ability to deliver on our commitments, but many of you have had the opportunity to work through and with them through their grants, through the engagement of their employee resource groups. We have not articulated the amount of financial impact that has come through the Chamber Cares initiative into Foster City and to the greater region. Through the work of the San Mateo County Strong, the partners that Roseanne Faust and others have worked with, our employers, some of them have been some of the most significant contributors. And the work that they have been able to do to be able to understand the strategies that nonprofits in particular needed to undertake allowed their grant processes to be retooled almost on demand. But they did not stop at nonprofit in helping to serve the unmet needs of our community. Those employers worked through various channels to not only support the city's agenda as it related to financial relief, but also to engage and to advocate for the types of policies and programs that would be necessary to support all. So we are very happy to say that they are also our partners, but their leadership in business made the difference. Dan?
Let's jump into the Make It Happen Award. What do you think?
I no offended.
All right, up first, she is the Make It Happen Impact Award because she is an amazing woman, multi-talented, and nothing would have happened without her. The first award goes to our very own staff member, Mara Curry. Our employee of one. She is a force to be reckoned with.
I wish I could see her face right now because she is probably wanting to throw things at me.
Right? If you're in the chat, make sure and share some love with her in the chat.
Yes, please do. Please do. And then I would like to be able to share that you did hear the power of one makes a difference. And Supatra Chauchovich is someone who brought heart and need to a chamber lens that we would have never had. And in large part is the reason that nonprofits became such an integral part of our day-to-day. So Supatra, thank you for making it happen. And we hope that it continues. And as you evolve your project, we hope you know that you have the support that you need. I'm going to take the final ones. Do you mind?
I'll go for it.
I'm going to keep talking.
Go for it.
So in 2020, there were significant partners within the city of Foster City, but there were two in particular that joined the CARES initiative early and often. One had the lens of community and the other had the lens of the Office of the City Manager, economics, and a view into what was happening day in and day out with our small businesses. We have not given the voice of small business and our major employers a lot of voice today, but it's the conversation that has become more known in the community. It's not that we do not value it and see it as critical to our ability to resolve and to work forward with, but we wanted to be able to make sure that today brought the confluence of how our community works together at various levels. Jennifer Liu and Vanessa Brannon were partners that were instrumental to us, and we would like to say thank you to them on behalf of the entire board and community for the role that they had played in working through the pandemic with us. Now, last but not least, there's two individuals. And so before we do the final two, I'm actually going to share with you what the award looks like. And then there's been so many people that have attended and participated today. It's actually really exciting. We would be remiss if we did not extend appreciation to Congresswoman Jackie Spears' office. The office of Senator Josh Becker. I believe Joan Dentler is here with us. The office of Assembly Member Kevin Mullen, Mario Rendon. Dan, who else do we have?
We've got Carol Groom, Supervisor, San Mateo County Board of Supervisors. She's here, great advocate for our district, so thankful. We have Mayor Sanjay Gahani in the house, so thank you to him for being here and supporting us. Councilmember John Fruman as well, thank you. And Councilmember Richa Awasti for being here. We appreciate you. And last but not least, Ken Chin, President School Board, San Mateo Foster City School District.
So we know, just like any other award show, although this has no food and no cocktails, we are running long, but we own the network. So we are not going to get shut off. But what we want to do is, it's really difficult to know how to recognize with meaning an award. Statues are representation of acknowledgement, but sometimes they don't always remind us of the true meaning of what we are being recognized for. So I would like to share with you what looks like this. I don't know if everyone can see me.
Yep, you're good.
This little jewelry box. And inside this box is a very simple challenge coin. There is nothing to us that demonstrates more appropriately what it is that we are recognizing than the challenges that each and every one of you have helped us overcome. And this coin is special. It is the City of Foster City's 50th year. And this coin shows on one side the City of Foster City's logo, and on the other side, the Foster City Chamber of Commerce logo. What today is intended to remind us all is no matter which chair you are seated in, you have the power to lead. Whichever door you choose to open and walk through, you can bring with you people into an experience, share your knowledge, share your relationships, and offer. We are not looking for sponsors. We are looking for champions. And each and every one of you have proven that you are capable of being those champions, because you have not waited to be asked in one circumstance what it is that we need. You have built the pathway to allow us to receive and understand what it is that is needed. And that is the only reason that our organization has been able, and I hate this word, Dan, you know I hate this word, pivot at the speed in which we have. Today has turned out to be one of the most extraordinary moments for me as the former CEO of this organization, to see how far we have come in trust and confidence in this community is extraordinary. Thank you allowing us to continue to serve with you. Know that building and continuing to bridge community will be our focus in 2021 and beyond. And there will be no shortage of times that you will be hearing from us. Dan, thank you. Mara, thank you. We are going to also recognize you as those who have made it happen. We would be remiss if we did not. On behalf of the board of directors, Dan, please take the final remarks.
Well, we're not there yet because you talked about being a champion and champions of all. And I believe, Eleanor, it's your turn if you want to step up and take yourself off mute. There's been no bigger champion in all of this in the last, and she's going to hate this and I'll deal with it later. There's been no bigger champion. As I said, we heard from Sean Pang and that amazingly powerful voicemail that he shared with everybody about the heart and the grit and the passion of such an individual. This is a board member that I have been honored and privileged to serve next to, and have been honored and privileged to watch take on the responsibility and shoulder the burden of requests from organizations, phone calls, trust, all sorts of things that we never knew we were possible. But if there's one thing I've learned with my relationship with Joanne, the woman can operationalize anything. And she can make it happen. So Eleanor, please take yourself off mute if you'd like to go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Joanne. I would like to show you the award that has come from Lions International for you and for your whole staff, okay? This is for the dedicated humanitarian services from Clubs International Foundation. This is a very special award. Most usually this award only goes to Lions. However, Lions volunteers this year we have been given the opportunity to give it to Lions volunteers. You who are and have been for so many years with us. I mean, I remember back when you were helping us. I mean, it's not just during the pandemic, it's been forever. And I appreciate it greatly. And we are sending you over this huge award. As you can see, it's pretty big, right? For you and your crew for having stayed with us and are still with us so that we can prepare for whatever is coming. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Dan. And thank you, Mara, for everything.
Thank you on behalf of the board. I know that they're all watching and listening, and we would be remiss if we did not say that Cliff Berry from Visa, Al DeGroot from Gilead Sciences, Melvin Justice from Tesla, Nathan Tsai from Chess Hatch from Crown Plaza, Daniel Brown from Entanglement Technologies, Dan Deemers from Hillbarn Theater, Angie Crackler from IBM, Sonia Tappan from the San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation, Konstantinos Versus from Century 21, George Funigiakis from Penelope's Coffee and Tea, Farzine from US Bank, and Yasmin Mora from One Piece Work. They are the new board. They are stepping into a new era with us. I believe we've had a phrase that has said, together we can. Today, I think we've learned that together we did. And what we hope you really know, and it sounds as though you do, is that your chamber cares. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And thank you so much for joining us for the Community Impact Summit.
Thank you, everybody. And remember, we're always here for you. And as Joanne says, your chamber cares. Take care, everybody.